When children are represented at the Juvenile Bureau, right off the bat, they're appointed the public defender. If there's a conflict with the public defender's office, someone has to step in and represent these children. And that someone is Tulsa Lawyers for Children.
As attorneys who are specialized in this area, they devote a lot of time to this area, and they provide those children with that quality representation, and they become the voice of those children to the court.
TLC is a way that lawyers in our community become essentially the eyes and ears and hands of the community on these children and the families' lives.
It's really important that they have representation because people forget that children grow up. And those wounds and scars stay with them their whole lives. And TLC helps diminish those wounds and helps those scars disappear.
Through the fostering process, I've made some friends, both in person and through websites, of people that have gone through the fostering process and had different lawyers representing their children. And sometimes that's not such a good thing. They feel like their lawyers are not there, they're not getting to know the children, they're not taking the time to get to know the situation. Even before court, sometimes they don't even meet the child. And Lucy came to our house, she interacted with the children, she got to know them. They weren't just a job to her, they were people. And she got to know our family and how we interacted, and was able to actually give a complete representation of what their needs were and what they were doing firsthand, as opposed to just going in with a file in her hand and reading off a piece of paper.
It was a couple of times where I was placed in a foster home that I wasn't really comfortable with, and I've called in and she'd had me move within a week.
With all of my clients, I jump back to my time with my younger brothers and sisters, and I think, how would my younger brothers and sisters have dealt with being pulled out of their home, being pulled away from families, being pulled out of their schools, everything that they know of. And that always teaches me, it touches me. I think when we see our own children, and in my case, my one child, but all of my younger brothers and sisters in the faces of these kids, it's impossible not to be passionate about them.
These kids need to know that they're able to call these lawyers. They need to know that they're able to depend on them, that they're going to pick up the phone for them, that they can trust them.
If you value the protection of children and the protection of children's rights, this organization would give you the opportunity to be involved with and to do that on a regular basis.
Truly, I think the lawyers themselves that represent these children understand the magnitude of their need. We have attorneys that know these kids haven't ever even been out to a lake. We have tons of lakes in Oklahoma. We had a volunteer lawyer that actually took the kids on her time and took them to the lake, and she said their experience was unbelievable, and it helped bond them when it came time to represent them in court. It's really an important thing that they do, but it's more about the bonding in the community. It's about the lawyers being more than stuffy guys and women in suits. It's being human, and being human for children.
I was involved in a case where a young girl, I represented one of the children, and another lawyer, another TLC lawyer, represented the other child. And we were in a position where the parents, specifically the mother, had not been able to comply with the treatment plan. We kind of came to a crossroads where the older child had to make a decision about whether or not she wanted to be with her mother or not. And the lawyer, the other TLC lawyer for this child, pulled together, called a meeting of all of the people involved in the case, the caseworkers, the therapist, the foster parents, and had the mother come in for a conference so she could look across the room at her mother and ask her if she was going to be her mommy anymore. And I think about my kids being put in that situation, and I can't imagine that. And the opportunity we have as TLC lawyers to have an impact on a child's life like that and to be able to counsel and guide them through that situation, words can't describe.
To me, what's exciting is when I can connect young attorneys that are just starting out their career, mid-level attorneys that are very sophisticated in their practice, and senior attorneys who want to continue to give with these young children. And it's a good match. That, to me, makes a lot of the work that I do incredibly rewarding.